John King, USA. CNN weeknights, 6 Eastern.
If the Syrians again fail to keep their word, what happens then?
Well, John, we've been watching this situation with a great concern, as it obviously has been a window in which the Syrian government has escalated the violence rather than diminishing it, as they're required to do in order to adhere to their commitments tomorrow. From the U.S. point of view, John, we will view these developments as a blatant breach, yet again, of the Syrian government's commitments, and we think that that requires a significant response from the international community. The question, as always, will be whether Russia and China, which have been reluctant to hold Syria and the government accountable, will be ready to do so now.
Well, that is the big question. But let me ask you, answer the critics who say the United Nations and Kofi Annan have been played, that the death toll has gone up by more than 1,000 since he was appointed special envoy, that Assad has simply used this diplomacy as cover to kill more people.
Well, I don't think it's a question of the United Nations or Annan being played. I think both in the Security Council and in the Secretariat and Annan himself have been very clear-eyed about the Syrian government, its motives, and its behavior to date. The question is whether there is still the opportunity, however slim, for there to be a diplomatic resolution to this over year-long conflict. The UN estimates over 9,000 people have died over the course of the year, and indeed those deaths are a result of a brutal government intent on using all kinds of violence to inflict its will. Now, the worst-case scenario, which indeed may yet still be the most likely scenario, is that this situation devolves into full-scale civil war. The reason why the international community has given Annan and his plan backing is because it remains, really practically speaking, the last viable chance for there to be a negotiated settlement. Should the Syrian government yet again refuse to implement its commitments, make promises and then break them and continue and escalate the killing, then I think it will be clear to all that there isn't yet a prospect for a diplomatic solution. We still hope that that's possible. We still want to give that a final chance, but I don't think we or anybody else are particularly optimistic. But this conflict is already overly militarized, and those who are looking to militarize it more should think twice about what the consequences of that will be. So we will continue to maximize the political and the economic pressure on the regime. We'll continue to support in ways political and economic and otherwise the opposition until Assad is removed from power.
When you see your colleagues from China and Russia, what do you tell them?
We tell them that they have blood on their hands, that there is upon them the responsibility to use the influence they have to end the killing of the Assad regime.